he stops and puts on a whole an elaborate clown show.
Yeah,
and I was like, man, I feel like he's off script at this moment. No, like he's just gotten way too into it.
He's played that clown shit for so long that he likes it now. Yeah, he can't break character now. Yeah, there's a moment where he can actually become a lizard man or whatever. But he's like, no, I like this clown shit, man.
Hey, check out this new routine I worked up.
Yeah. I'm gonna say something. I know a lot of people are gonna say, "Yeah, Korey, you're full of shit." I know. I'm sorry, but let me say this, just so people understand. Actually, let me bring up Chris Herman. Why don't you come on up, man? Yeah, come on up. I said I'll talk about this with you. Right here, no, you take your ass over there. No, don't you know about me? No. Yo, señorita, she can come over here. She's looking at me like,
He's like, nah, I'm listening to this show.
I'm not crossing that color line. Oh, one of the things that I've always liked about Chris Herman is that Chris Herman has always had his own opinion about things. Mm-hmm. And I'm not asking that he think like me, but I'm just saying that I want to know his opinions in general, because you truly do not try to go the way of the public or the general opinion unless you really do feel that way.
Sure, yeah. I have my opinions. I take them seriously.
Yeah, you do. And we are going to be talking about, just real quick, we're going to be talking about the movie It. It did phenomenal this weekend. We're going to talk about the money it made when we get to the box office. But I'll just say this, it made a shitload of money. Don't cut this shit off. I like this movie. But
such an asshole move. He could just show his face right off the bat.
I know, man.
Him sit through slide after slide.
I know.
Pennywise likes to play with his food.
No, he does. He does. He's an asshole like that. It's a movie that we said, Martin and I at least, where we said, you know what? It's a good movie. There's nothing wrong with it except for some of the things that we don't like that we usually talk about in other movies. Like, we thought that the bullies in it were not that fleshed out. They were just stereotypical movie bullies.
Psychotic.
Psychotic. And also, it's not a complaint, but I don't think it's a true horror movie. I think it's more of a coming of age story with bits of horror in there. This could be seen as more of an adventure film. Spielberg probably could have got away with some of this, toning it down and making the same movie back in the day when he was doing this kind of movie back in his Amblin days, back in the 80s and 90s. But what'd you think about it?
No, I will agree. It's more of a thriller than a true horror film, and it works really well as a coming of age story. Mm-hmm. When the adult actors are worse than the kids, I think that's an issue.
I thought it was on you. That's right. On you. I forgot to. Sorry, I was sitting over here doing multitasking. Little horror movie phone, just a ghost talking next to Martin.
Pennywise, I'm just manipulating. In the background.
Now continue. I'm sorry.
No, but my problems with the film is that, like, as you brought up, which is a problem with all of Stephen King's works, is that the bullies are just psychopaths, and where they're just like monsters themselves. And the other thing is that I think, even though I have a kind of excuse in my head why the adult characters are just kind of like non-existent in this film, they're not as well developed, as well as some of the cast members, and particularly Mike Hanlon, who's the black character, the black kid in the film.
Yeah,
he's kind of just like, he has like a couple lines, and I actually thought it was disappointing that they dropped the kind of the racist subplot where they mentioned a few times. That's a big part in the book. That's just kind of like, it feels like they want to do that, but they always like held back.
Something, and that's what I said. Because I hadn't read the book, but I said, looking at these bullies in here where they're chasing this kid and always telling him to get out of town. They're not telling the other kids to get out of town. So, they don't want black people in here, but it seemed like they were just scared to cross that line.
In the book, they use like the N-word a lot.
Yeah,
when talking to Mike.
And I felt like even in a small town in 1989, racism is still thriving.
Yeah, it's not like people are shy from saying it. Well, they are shy from saying it now, but these kind of bullies wouldn't be.
Yeah, that's and I just want to hear your opinion, because we did our review and I said, man, for me, this movie, it really is it's scratching at a full price. It's right there. But for the things that I was talking about with the bullies in there, you're saying the exact same thing that I said. No, here comes somebody. Like, man, you paid that son of a bitch.
I disagree with you on quite a few things. So you're not paying me.
No, you were ready to speak your mind. You ready to tell me to go fuck myself in a minute. But as I was saying, I said, and I thought about this movie, and I might have a slight change of heart because I thought about the movie and I said, you know something, you're saying the exact same things that I'm saying. I didn't like the adults in here, even though I understand why. It's mostly told from the kids' point of view, and the adults are under a spell.
Exactly. That's how I kind of figured. It's like, well, that's why they're not seeing the same things that the kids are seeing. That's why they're not fully developed, because they're just been under this manipulation for years, if not decades. And so I kind of thought that was cool. That's like a little bit of world building. Maybe you have to read into a little bit.
Yeah. And I did make this complaint, and I will go back and say I would take that complaint away. The bullies I would still stand on. I would take the complaint away about the adults, though. The other complaint I will relax on is, like I said, his powers are inconsistent. And I said, you know something, maybe, and Gertz made this argument, and it could be that maybe he was controlling these kids psychologically. Yeah. Like they were all kind of seeing the same thing, so they could be put under fear, which makes them more appetizing. And so that's why he was so flexible with his powers. He wasn't always there. No,
they spelled that out. That was fine. It's just sometimes he did things where they kind of brushed it all off. It's like, oh, it's all psychological, but then some of it had a physical manifestation where, like, that blood squirting all over the toilet. And that's one thing. It's like, okay,
that is true.
Maybe that's psychic, but then later they go clean it up. They spend an afternoon cleaning up psychic blood that's not actually there, or is it actually there? Because if he actually was able to do that, then he has physical, not just mental powers. And I'm like, so then what's the deal? The
problem, and this is inherent with King's original work, is that they never really provide definition to what it is.
Right.
It's basically a being from another dimension that came to Earth. And so trying to explain his reality existing with our reality, that's where you get things like, well, how is this kind of explained? They don't do that. Because you're kind of there for the scares, which, again, I kind of just brushed that off. It's like, it's just scary for the moment. So that didn't really bother me.
Yeah. I was making... You make a good point, Warren. I forgot about that because I did think about that too. It was like, all right, why is it physical here and not in other areas? Because it seems like most of the time he has to keep a distance. How did he get into the pipes all of a sudden?
I mean, that is the thing. It's that Pennywise is a construct, where in the book they talk about it that way. But yeah, in the same time, he's still able to interact with the physical world. It's the problem that inherently with the novels that they don't provide definition to his powers.
Yeah, so. I guess that's the thing where they were just like some of these things we're talking about, and we go like, well, if I think about it, maybe it's this. But there are movies you see where that just rings true right off the bat when you see it, and I'm like, it's missing that. Something we talked about, how he's not actually a clown; he's this creature that manifests himself that way. And he just has this clown motif. But there's a point in the movie where I think it's when he kidnaps Bev, where he stops and puts on a whole an elaborate clown show. Yeah, and I was like, man, I feel like he's off script at this moment. No, he's just gotten way too into it.
He's played that clown shit for so long that he likes it now. Yeah, he can't break character now. Yeah, there's a moment where he can actually become a lizard man or whatever. But he's like, no, I like this clown shit, man.
Hey, check out this new routine I worked up.
Yeah, he started juggling and shit.
He was dancing and had a big show going on behind him. I was like, what's he doing right now?
It was even the way that girl, she was looking at him. She's like, so you don't have to do this act. You can eat me right now.
Yeah, it's like, if you wanted to. Or not? Or can I go back home?
Yeah, I'm not trying to make excuses for the movie. I would even go back and probably say, look, for my sake, maybe I would give it a matinee for me and a full price for other people.
Well, and that's how I felt about it. It's a matinee for me, but a full price for anybody else.
And that's where people get confused, because I always say, how do I rate something, dude? Because some people say, man, rate it what you would rate it.
I mean, a lot of times that's where I fall on things like what will I give it? But at the same time, what I think how other people will feel about it does temper my final review.
Yeah, because I feel like, do I rate it for other people or do I rate it for myself? And you can never please anybody, because people will say, man, just say what you feel. You ain't got to fuck these people. Or they say, hey, man, I don't care about how you feel. Will I enjoy it? Quit bullshitting and tell me whether the movie's good or not. For me, not you.
I mean, for myself, I'll say I really enjoyed the movie. It was very entertaining. It was scary when it needed to be, and I was surprised at actually how funny it was. That's one thing I don't think a lot of people are bringing up at the moment. It's like there are parts where I just laughed out loud.
That's really where I saw it.
Some great running gags too.
Which running gag did you see that you liked?
The music group.
New Kids.
New Kids.
I like that. Yeah. I also like some of the comedy that they had. Now that we can get out there and talk about it, because see, I think the horror was there's three things in this movie. You have the coming of age story, you have the comedy, and then you have the horror. Yeah. Because there were true moments of comedy in there. Do you remember when they had the marching band and in the background they had the little the little horny kid. I forgot Richie. Yeah, he was back there just messing with that guy's trombone. He's like, man, get the fuck out of here. You know, I looked at that and I thought, man, you know, there is a lot more heart, emotion, and a comedy than horror in this.
Sure, but that's what I think makes the horror effective, is that because you care for these kids.
Oh, yeah.
For most of them. And when something bad does happen to them, you're shocked by it. You're like, oh, I want them to get out of the situation as quickly as possible.
That's the thing. I mean, that's what Stephen King does best.
Yeah.
He spends a lot of time setting up his characters, and you care about them. And when bad things happen, you really feel it. Or you know, you'll like a couple, and he'll end the chapter saying like, "And that was the last time he saw her alive." And you're like, God damn it,
yeah, man. He does that like a lot in The Stand. I also apologize in my review. I said that Nightmare on Elm Street 5 did not come out that year. It did. I don't know what the fuck I was talking about.
Okay, that a factual error you can apologize
There's like
for.
8 of them. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, 8 errors that I made.
No, there's like 8 Nightmare on Elm Street films.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah, I just lost track.
Yeah.
And there was what else? There was one more thing that I thought. I don't apologize for the bullies, but I did think that they had that one scene where they tried to add a little more depth, and that made it more frustrating for me when Henry's father came out and shot at his feet. And that showed why he was like he was. Because you keep saying he was psychotic, and I'm like, okay, he has a father that's driving him crazy. And that father also being influenced by the evil in the town could also be a force in making this kid be a terror to everybody else. Maybe so these kids fear more to make them more appetizing for it.
Well, it's often a thing it's almost become a trope now, where you have a bully, but then you discover that they have a father who's abusive to them, and I'm like, you know what? A lot of people have abusive fathers who don't bully other kids. I ain't letting you off the hook.
Well, I mean, this is the one case where it does. I mean, it doesn't make him right, but I'm thinking, all right, I get it. It's just the bully that hangs around with thugs around him, and they're just faceless thugs and nameless thugs. I was like,
it's Jimbo Jones.
I will say they did more here in this adaptation than they did in the original book or in the miniseries.
Okay.
I'm trying to give him definition.
Yeah.
So it's like they talk about he had an alcoholic father in the book, but that's really it, and he just kills him. That's about it.
Yeah.
So.
And I do like the clown. I do like the clown itself, Pennywise. Yeah, and I love the transformations that he would make. You know, when you saw him with the piranha mouth or the shark mouth, I thought, okay, you know what? If I was scared of clowns, you just fucked me up for life.
I appreciate the film was brave enough to actually show. This is going to sound bad, but violence against kids, because that is part of the book.
Oh, sure, that's a huge part.
They're going to show it, and if that makes people squeamish, and probably don't go see the movie, because there's a lot of kids that. Ugh.
That was one of the things I praised the movie for. Yeah. I'm like,
but they're brave enough to do that.
Yeah, I said not only did it,
they got it out of the way right off the bat.
Well, yeah,
they let you know early. Like you still got time to go ask for your money back.
No, I'm sorry. Georgia. I'm sorry, but that little arm had to go. You know, because it showed not only what not only what Pennywise would do, because they set it up real quick. Like, you know what, this clown's not fucking around. It's I mean around, but they set up that like this clown truly is evil and will fuck kids up.
He's like a creature of just consumption.
Exactly. Just driven by hunger, and also it just set up the tone for the movie. I like that it set up the tone for the movie. That all right, you know what. Kids can be sacrificed, and also kids will be kids in this world. This is a world where, because of this clown, these kids have to be adults because of the town being so under this creature's spell. I thought, man, that's a great way to set this movie up.
Absolutely. One of the other things I actually want to bring up was just like I love how Pennywise he's kind of like bad at his job in terms of like creating illusions and like, luring kids in. Like even the clown itself, it's like there's something off of it. Like the eyes go in different directions. Like he can't control himself and he just starts drooling randomly.
Oh yeah.
So it's cool because it kind of adds to Stephen King's world. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like the Dark Tower or anything.
Slightly.
There's a creature that is similar.
Talking about the turtle?
Well, I was going to actually bring up the turtle. I'm glad they didn't actually have the turtle in there because that's a little goofy. But there's a creature in the Dark Tower called Dandello, which is capable of creating like these really elaborate illusions, and it feeds off multiple emotions of people. It actually keeps them around for like years alive and like kind of wrapped up in their own like kind of like luxury world.
Oh,
where they're not aware of him like feeding off of him.
He puts them in the Matrix.
Exactly. So I kind of like the idea that Pennywise is just like is like a fucked up version of those creatures, and he's been exiled to Earth. Now it's just kind of me, adding to it, but at the same time, it's like it shows that that Pennywise is probably kind of like this reject, which I think is kind of cool.
And you know what? That makes sense because he acts like he's that crackhead that's around all the other demons. Because he does like drool and they're like, man, you got to go. But that's one of the things, we all cool and you over here twitching and shit. And I did like that they made him not so much like a cartoon character like they did with Tim Curry and
Kiss Me, that boy.
Hey Georgie, hey I'm Pennywise. You're Georgie now. We're not strangers. I was like, okay.
Well, I don't know. That
I like take an arm, man. Go ahead.
That first scene is not that different from that.
Well, it's different in the sense that he can't wait to eat this kid.
Yeah,
he is drooling. And he doesn't have any patience at all.
Strangers.
Oh, well, I'm Pennywise the dancing clown.
I should get going now.
Without
Come on, man, take this goddamn boat. I like that, and I didn't. That what you said, I didn't have the luxury of knowing that before we got into it.
I know.
But that does add more to what kind of creature that he is.
It does.
But to wrap it up, man, because we didn't. This is just a impromptu. Spoiler talk. I just wanted to hear what you thought.
Yeah.
I would go, look, I said this, maybe I need to reverse it because people got mad on YouTube. Not a lot, but some people doing that whole thing of literally somebody said, you didn't say what I thought you say in the review. I'm disappointed. One guy's like, yeah, I'm unsubbing until you guys learn how to review because you didn't love the movie like I did. I'm like, okay, what can I tell you? Except fuck off. But if I had to reverse it around, maybe I would say, personally for me, it would be a matinee because I do know that there are things personally that I don't like. But for everybody else out there, I would give it a full price because I do think the movie's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I had a great time with it.
The thing is, you don't have to say that. These people don't really care. They're just bored, and that's why they're going after you guys.
Yeah. And it's not a lot.
If
People
you
are cool.
want to be you're still saying it's a good movie. You still enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay.
One person even said, you didn't say, you just nitpicked it and you never mentioned anything good about this movie. I'm like, fuck, man, you can't win.
As someone who, maybe enjoyed it more than you guys, I totally understand where you're coming from.
So you give it a full price.
I would give it a full price, yeah.
Yeah.
Despite my criticisms, yeah.
And let me just say, I'll give it a full price. Because you put it like that.
Dude, why are you constantly bending?
I'm just flipping.
When does it stop?
I'm just flipping it around.
Bowing to YouTube.
I'm just flipping it around. I'm just flipping around because I like the way you said it. Despite my criticisms, I will give it a full price. Don't hurt me anymore. I'm sorry. We good now? I'm not good enough. I want a full price. Let's bring Sammy up. Sammy, you want to do the top 5 real quick?
Peso wise.
The clown that shook the world, Martin.
I don't know.
Oh, tell him, man.
That one from Poltergeist?
Pennywise, goddammit. Even he's getting mad. Come on. Weekend gross.
Give me my due.
He's like, I'm rich, bitches. $117 million.
God damn.
117.1. And they say that this was going to open up with 107. Before, it was projected to open up at around 80 something.
I heard as low as 50. Like, some people were like, early on, they were saying, $50 million, and you're going to make some good money, it's going to sweep up, it's fine. But then in the first Friday, it was 52 or something like that on that Friday, so.
I'm telling you.
Well,
it's good revenge for the gunslinger.
Yeah, that's true. It was the Dark Tower is what they call it, right?
Yeah.
That's how forgettable that shit
I
is.
fucking hate that movie so much. It's just so funny, though. That's probably my favorite comedy this summer.
Oh, you did see it?
I did, for some reason, I saw it, and no, that shit made me laugh out loud at the end, man. I was crying with laughter.
Poor
I was with
Idris,
some of the Toasties. It was great. I love that movie.
Yeah, it's not a good movie. It's a really bad movie. It's an alright TV pilot, like you said, but a really bad movie. But for people, for a world that says they're scared of clowns, y'all should paying to see it. Y'all making them rich.
Man.
That's I didn't even know the budget on this $35 million.
$35 million. That's the thing that was most surprising to me. Okay, you got all this. I mean, maybe the promotional budget is probably equal to that, but to be honest, I didn't think it was going to be that cheap, relatively what I'm seeing.
That's
what I'm
crazy.
Okay, so who are your big stars in this?
Pennywise.
CG and makeup?
Like there's no big actors you got to pay.
Oh, there's 2 big stars in this, Pennywise and that balloon.
Helium is expensive, man. Come on.
Yeah, man. I'm even more impressed with this that they did that for $35 million. I thought that clown act that he did in the third act cost $35 million alone.
The choreography alone.
Yeah. He's gonna ask for a raise in that next one. You know, I just felt it, man, and I think it's well deserved. I mean, it is such a fun movie, and it's a movie that everyone was looking forward to, and so it came with a lot of hype.
Right.
And with the hype, I mean, hype is usually a setup for disappointment. I thought everybody got exactly what they wanted out of this.
Yeah. And I used to be the person that was saying, you know what, maybe those clowns last year wasn't a setup or wasn't some viral marketing. It totally was, because people had forgot about it just enough to where, like, oh, that is kind of creepy. Forgot about it. And then they got to this movie near the middle part, end of the year, and they were all like, oh, you remember those clowns? That shit was scary, right? And they just started getting fed this hype machine, and they all bought into it. I honestly think that's like a long con that worked perfectly.
Those goddamn clowns that they had popping up everywhere, I still think Pennywise hired them to market this movie.
And my argument is that, what the fuck were people thinking about clowns before? It's been 27 years since the original, and people haven't been afraid of clowns since, I was a kid, really. It's always been there, but...
that clown fear has been there, man.
But where are they getting their clown scares from?
Clowns?
Just looking at them.
But the Ringling Brothers have been going out of circus. People don't go to the circus anymore. They don't even really exist, so where are you going to find clowns?
Birthday parties.
People still hire clowns. They're having Elsa-themed birthday parties nowadays, man. People aren't buying clowns.
Hiring them off of street corners, man, like hookers,
But Frozen is still fairly new.
Right, but I'm just saying that
people have clown fetishes, man. They out there.
Yeah.
I think you can actually hire on the street prostitutes with clown makeup on. That's not bullshit.
I don't want to know where you go looking for that, but
get with me after the show, man.
Okay. But now this movie broke all the records, though. I will say that it broke every September record it could. Let me get the list out: largest September opening, largest fall opening, largest opening for an R-rated horror film, and it destroyed Paranormal Activities 3's $52.5 million. So it damn near doubled that.
$117 million.
And it's the largest grossing horror film rated by the MPAA. So no, this shit killed everything.
And I will tell you this much, man: the second one is going to kill Chapter 2, because first of all, everybody wants to see it.
Yeah.
But I forgot to say this in either one of our discussions about the movie, but the way the movie ended, and I'm not gonna say teased, but introduced or were setting up the second movie. Mm-hmm. I thought they did an excellent job with that.
Sure, because this one does end in a way where it ends.
It's its own movie.
It's its own movie. But hey, there's more to come. But you don't leave this one feeling like, man, I didn't even get the whole story. Where's the rest?
Yeah, they didn't pull no Lord of the Rings shit or some Harry Potter where they split into two. It's like, they don't have to. No. I'm really excited for that second one. I love the way. If you haven't seen the movie, you're really going to be anticipating that second movie by the end of it.
It's only number 2 in R-rated movie releases to Deadpool, so that's how well this did. Deadpool made 132, and this one made 111. So.
Telling you, man, I'm so happy that people are really taking advantage, story-wise, of the R-rating. Where they're using it to tell stories, not to just show blood or sex. It's cool. I love this.